Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be giving my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Let's get straight into it. Starting with the first fight on the card, we have is Damian Anderson versus Israel Elliott. Damian Anderson is 5-0 and his last fight was against Hondo Gutierrez, and he won by submission in the first round. And Israel Elliott is 7-0 and his last fight was against Ashton Kalagia and got a TKO in the first round and won this fight. Now, some other fights that these guys had for Damian Anderson, he's beaten Hondo Gutierrez, like I said, by a submission in the first round. Sandri Silva by submission, and I think that was UFC International, BJJ, I think that's what it's called. Submitted Gabriel Wardley in the second round. Marcelo Reyes sub in the second round, so he's known for his submissions. And on the other hand, with Israel Elliott, he's fought at Ashton Kalagia, like I said, and got a round 1 KO or TKO. And then he submitted DeAndre Tipton in the first round there. So yeah, this is how I think the fight will go down. Round 1, Anderson will likely look to close the distance early and test Elliott with his grappling. Elliott's focus will be on maintaining range, using his footwork, and landing the clean combinations, when avoiding extended ground exchanges. I think round 2, Elliott's striking and composure should begin to take over as he finds his timing. If he keeps the fight standing, his speed and accurate combinations can overwhelm Anderson, forcing the referee to step in after a sustained damage. So for this, I'm going to go with Israel Elliott by TKO in the second round. I think the sharper boxing, precise combinations, and sustained pressure lead to a second round stoppage for Israel Elliott here. So yeah, I do have Israel Elliott by TKO in the second round for me. Next fight on the card we have is Dione Barboza versus Anna Miliciano. Dione Barboza is 9-4 and her last fight was against Melissa Gatto and got a decision win. And Anna Miliciano is 6-1 and her last fight was against Andrea Amaro and got a TKO in the third round and won that fight. Now, some other fights that these women have had. Dione Barboza has fought Melissa Gatto, like I just said, got a majority decision there. Lost to Corrine Silva by decision. Submitted Diana Belbita in the first round. Lost to Miranda Maverick. Beat Ernesta Kachaka by a unanimous. Submitted Rain Guerrero in the Contender Series. With Anna Miliciano, she has beaten Andrea Amaro by doctor stoppage in the third round. Submitted Linda Warren by submission in the first round. Then TKO'd Blanca Medina in the first round and won a decision from Anna Martinez. So this is how I think the fight will go down for them. I think round 1, Miliciano will likely come out to establish her striking and apply pressure early. Barboza's key will be stay patient, closing the distance safely, and using her grappling to bring the fight into her strongest area. Round 2, I think if Barboza can secure a takedown and establish control, her submission ability and positional grappling can start to take over. Miliciano's aggression could create openings for Barboza to capitalize on. So for that, I'm going to go Dione Barboza by submission in the second round. I think her strong grappling, relentless submission pressure, and excellent control on the ground lead to a second round finish. So give me Dione Barboza by submission in the second round for me. Next fight on the card we have is Elvin Hines versus RJ Harris. Elvin Hines is 7-1 and his last fight was against Jonata Denise and got a decision loss. And RJ Harris is 5-0 and his last fight was against Philip Lato and got a decision win. Some other fights that these guys had is for Elvin Hines, he beat Billy Ray Valdez and by TKO in the third round. Junior Hicks by submission in the first round. Mark Correa by TKO in the first round. And then RJ Harris, he fought Alex Maro and got a TKO in the first round. Austin Green and got a decision win. Now, this is how I think the fight will go down. I think round 1, Hines will likely come out aggressively, looking to establish his power early and force Harris onto the back foot. Harris will try to stay composed, use his movement, and avoid getting caught in a firefight. But Hines' pressure and heavy striking will make every exchange dangerous. Round 2, I think after testing Harris in the opening round, Hines' power and pressure should begin to take over. If he continues cutting off the cage and landing clean combinations, the accumulated damage could force a stoppage. So for this reason, I am going to go with Alvin Hines by TKO in the second round. I think his relentless pressure, heavy combinations, and accumulated damage lead to a second round stoppage for me. So yeah, Alvin Hines by TKO in the second round for me. Next fight on the card we have is Eldon Cormier versus Stuart Nickel. Eldon Cormier is 12-3 in his last fight was against Louis Garrel, where he got a decision win, and Stuart Nickel is 8-3 in his last fight was against Alessandro Costa and got a TKO in the second round and lost that fight. Now this is how I think the fight. Other fighters that they have fought for Eldon Cormier. He also fought Alessandro Costa, won by TKO in the third round, and then he had a no contest with Paris Morin. And then for Stuart Nickel, like I said, lost to Alessandro Costa by TKO in the second round. Luis Rocha by a decision. He lost that, and lost to Jesus Aguilera, and lost by submission in the first round. So this is how I think the fight will go down. I think round 1, Nickel will likely try to look for pressure early and make the fight physical. Cormier's goal will be to stay composed, establish his jab, and gradually take control with cleaning combinations and better shot selection. Round 2, I think as Cormier settles into the fight, his pressure and accuracy should begin to overwhelm Nickel. If Nickel continues to absorb clean combinations while trying to force exchanges, Cormier can capitalize with a sustained attack. Now this is how I think the end will be. I think my prediction, I do have Eldon Cormier by TKO in the second round. I think sharp combinations, steady pressure, and accumulating damage lead to a second round stoppage. So yeah, give me Eldon Cormier by TKO in the second round here. Next fight on the card we have is Felipe Franco versus Levi Rodriguez Jr. Felipe Franco is 10-2, and his last fight was against Mario Pinto, where he got a decision loss, and Levi Rodriguez Jr. is 5-0, and his last fight was against Freddie Vidal, where it ends in a no contest. Some other fights these guys had for Felipe Franco, like I said, lost to Mario Pinto by a decision, then fought Kimberlin Tavares, and got a TKO in the first round. Lost to Freddie Vidal by a submission in the third round on the Contender Series last year. And then for Levi Rodriguez Jr., Freddie overturned a no contest to Freddie Vidal in the Contender Series. Alan Ribeiro by TKO in the first round. Johnny Pereira by TKO in the third round. So yeah. No, this is how I think the fight will go. I think round 1, Franco will likely try to establish a steady pace and make Rodriguez work in early exchanges. Rodriguez's goal will be to pressure forward, land powerful combinations, and prevent Franco from getting comfortable. Round 2, I think if Rodriguez continues applying pressure and finds his timing for power and accuracy, can begin to overwhelm Franco. As the damage builds, Franco may struggle to keep Rodriguez off him. So for this reason, I am going to go with Levi Rodriguez Jr. by TKO in the second round. I think powerful combinations, relentless pressure, and sharp finishing instincts lead to a second round stoppage. So yeah, give me Levi Rodriguez Jr. by TKO in the second round here. Damn, a lot of finishes on this card. Next fight on the card we have is Seokyeong Ko versus Jean-Paul Lebosniani. I think that's how you say the name. So with Seokyeong Ko, he's 13-2. His last fight was against Phil Rowe, where he got a decision win. And Jean-Paul Lebosniani is 10-2, and his last fight was against Phil Rowe and got a decision win as well. Some other fights these guys had for Seokyeong Ko, he fought Oban Elliott and got a decision win. Igor Cavalcanti and got a decision win on the Contender Series. For Jean-Paul Lebosniani, He, again, split decision with Phil Rowe, won that fight. Jack Kong Dong, and got a TKO in the first round, and that was his Contender Series fight there. So, yeah. Now, this is how I think the fight will go down. I think round one, Labosiani will likely try to pressure early and make the fight physical. Koski will likely stay composed, establish his jab, and use his movements to keep the exchanges at his preferred range. Round two, I think Ko's technical striking and ability to mix in wrestling should begin to separate him. If he controls a distance and avoids prolonged brawls, he can consistently land that cleaner shots while limiting Labosiani's offense. Round 3, as the fight reaches the final round, Ko's composure and conditioning should allow him to maintain his pace. His cleaner combinations and smart fight management can help him edge the final frame and secure the scorecards. So for this, I'm going to go with Seokyeong Ko by decision. I think superior technique, consistent output, and disciplined fight management earn him a well-deserved decision victory. So yeah, Seokyeong Ko by decision for me. Next fight on the card we have is Jose Miguel Delgado versus Austin Bashi. Jose Miguel Delgado is 11-2 in his last fight was against Andre Fili, where he got a decision win, and Austin Bashi is 14-1 in his last fight was against John Yanis, where he submitted him in the first round. Some other fights these guys had for Jose Delgado, he lost to Nathaniel Wood by decision. He defeated Haida Emil by TKO in the first round. He TKO'd Conor Matthews in the first round. He TKO'd Ernie Jerez in the second round on the Contender Series. And for Austin Bashi, he lost to Christian Rodriguez by decision. He fought Dorian Ramos, which was his Contender Series fight, and won by submission in the second round. Now, this is how I think the fight will go down. I think round 1, Bashi will likely look to use his grappling early, test Delgado's takedown offense, and trying to create submission opportunities. Delgado's key will be staying patient, defending the ground attacks, and use his striking whenever the fight stays standing. Round 2, I think Delgado's pressure and striking should begin to become more important. If he can keep the fight upright, his power and cleaner combinations can help him win exchanges and slow Bashi's momentum. Round 3, I think Bashi will remain dangerous with his grappling, but Delgado's experience, composure, and ability to control the pace should help him finish the fight stronger and stay ahead on the scorecards. So for this reason, I am going to go with Jose Miguel Delgado by decision. I think stronger striking, consistent pressure, and smart fight management allow him to outpoint Bashi over 3 rounds. So yeah, Jose Miguel Delgado by decision for me. Next fight on the card we have is Tommy McMillan versus Alberto Montez, which I'm so excited for this fight. I think this is definitely a fight of the night contender for sure. Anyway, Tommy McMillan is 10-0. His last fight was against Manolo Zuccini and got a TKO in the first round and won that fight. And Alberto Montez is 11-1, and his last fight was against Ricky Turcios, where he won by submission in the second round here. Some other fights these guys have had for Tommy McMillan. He also fought David Moygan and got a decision win on the Contender Series. Aduma Rowe and got a submission in the first round and submitted Gina Benegos the first round as well. And for Alberto Montez, Ricky Turcios was his first UFC debut and won by submission in the second round, and then he fought Carlos Calderon and got a submission in the second round on the Contender Series. Now let's see how I think the fight will go down. I think round 1, Montez will likely look to make the fight uncomfortable early by mixing grappling and forcing McMillan to defend different threats. McMillan's focus will be staying composed, controlling distance, and using his striking advantage while avoiding dangerous ground exchanges. Round 2, I think McMillan's undefeated confidence and technical striking should begin to show as he finds his timing if he keeps the fight standing. His cleaner combinations and accuracy can start overwhelming Montez and force a stoppage. So for this reason, I'm actually going to go with Tommy McMillan, the underdog pick. I'm going to go Tommy McMillan by TKO in the second round here. I think cleaner striking, strong pressure, and improved timing lead to a second round stoppage over Montez. I think this is going to be a hell of a fight. I cannot wait to see this. But yeah, I'm going to go Tommy McMillan by TKO in the second round. And I mean, Tommy McMillan has that height and reach over Montez, so I think that will definitely work in his favour for sure. Next fight on the card we have is Tabitha Ricci versus Fatima Klein. Tabitha Ricci is 12-4, and her last fight was against Verna Jandiroba and got a decision loss. And Fatima Klein is 9-1, and her last fight was against Angela Hill, where she got a decision win. Some other fights these guys have had for Tabitha Ricci, lost to Verna Jandiroba by decision, TKO'd Amanda Rebus in the second round, lost to Yan Zhao Nan, by decision, beat Angela Hill by decision, Tisha Pennington got a split decision win, Lupe Godinez lost by a split decision, Gillian Robertson won by decision, which was a pretty impressive win for her, and Jessica Penny won by submission in the second round there. And for Fatima Klein, Angela Hill by decision, Melissa Martinez by TKO in the third round, and Victoria Dudikova in the TKO in the second round. Now, this is how I think the fight will go down. Round 1, Ricci will likely look to make this a physical fight early, closing distance and testing Klein's takedown defense. Klein's key is staying mobile, defending exchanges, and using her striking to keep Ricci from settling in her grappling rhythm. Round 2, I think if Klein can stay off the fence and avoid extended grappling sequences, her cleaner striking and ability to control range should start to show. Round 3, Klein's composure and technical improvement could be the difference. Ricci's pressure keeps her competitive, but Klein's accuracy and ability to manage the fight can help her win the final exchanges. So for this reason, my prediction, I'm going to go with Fatima Klein by decision. I think cleaner striking, strong fight management, and the ability to stay composed under pressure allow her to edge Ricci over 3 rounds. So for that, I'm going to go with Fatima Klein by decision. Next fight on the card we have is Chase Hooper versus Mitch Ramirez. Chase Hooper is 16-5-1, and his last fight was against Lance Gibson Jr. and lost by TKO in the first round. And Mitch Ramirez is 8-3, and his last fight was against Mike Davis, where he won by TKO in the second round. Some other fights these guys have had for Chase Hooper before Lance Gibson, he lost by TKO in the first round to Alexander Hernandez. So he's on a 2-fight TKO loss, which kind of sucks. Beat Jim Miller by decision. Submitted Clay Guida in the first round, and Vyacheslav Borshev submitted him in the second round. For Mitch Ramirez, he fought Thiago Moises and lost by TKO in the third round. Arian Tavares won by TKO in the first round, and he did lose his Contender Series fight to Carlos Prates by TKO in the second round here. So yes, with this fight, I think round 1, Ramirez will likely look to keep the fight standing and use his striking pressure early. Hooper's key will be staying composed, avoiding unnecessary exchanges, and finding opportunities to bring the fight into his strongest area, the ground. Round 2, I think if Hooper gets the fight down, his submission chains and ability to attack him from different positions can be a major problem for Ramirez. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Chase Hooper by submission in the second round. I think elite grappling, slick transitions, and submission pressure lead to a second round finish. So yeah, Chase Hooper by sub in the second round. Now for the co-main event, we have is Jared Cannonier versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Jared Cannonier is 18-9, and his last fight was against Michael Venom Page, where he got a decision loss, and Christian Leroy Duncan is 14-2, and his last fight was against Roman Dolidze, where he got a decision win. Now for some fights that these guys have had. For Jared Cannonier, his last fight was against Michael Page, like I said, lost by decision. His fight before that, I think, which is an impressive win, and is doing well for his career now. Won by TKO in the fourth round against Gregory Rodriguez, lost a decision to Kyle Brahalio, and lost to a TKO in the fourth round to Nasruddin Mavov. Now for Christian Leroy Duncan, he beat Roman Dolidze by decision, TKO'd Marco Tulio by TKO in the second round, TKO'd Eric Anders in the first round, and won a decision by Andre Puliev by decision. But one fight he did lose was to Gregory Rodriguez by decision. And this is how I think the fight will go down. I think Canada will likely bring pressure early, using his power boxing and experience to test Duncan. Duncan's key will be to stay mobile, use his creativity, and avoiding standing in the pocket too long. Round 2, I think Duncan's movement and speed and variety of attacks can start to frustrate Cannonier if he can avoid the big shots and control pace. Round 3, I think Cannonier's toughness keeps him dangerous, but Duncan's technical striking and ability to manage distance should help him land the cleaner work and close out the fight. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan by a decision. I think better movement, creative striking, and cleaner output allow him to outpoint Cannonier over 3 rounds. So yeah, give me Christian Leroy Duncan by decision. Now for our main event, we have is Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman in the main event. Dricus Du Plessis is, I don't know why I'm saying his name like that, I'm sorry. Dricus Du Plessis is 23-3 and his last fight was against Khamzat Chimaev, where he lost by decision, and Kamaru Usman is 21-4 and his last fight was against Joaquin Buckley and got a decision win. Now, some other fights these guys have had for Dricus, he's for, Sean Strickland, won by decision. Israel Adesanya submitted him in the 4th round. Beat Strickland for the first time, and then TKO'd Robert Whittaker in the 2nd round. So impressive wins. And for Kamaru Usman, beat Joaquin Buckley, lost to Khamzat Chimaev, lost to Leon Edwards twice, won by decision and won by TKO in the 5th round. Beat Colby Covington by decision, TKO'd Jorge Masvidal in the 2nd round, TKO'd Gilbert Burns in the 3rd round, and in July 2020, he defeated Jorge Masvidal by decision. Now this is how I think the fight will go down. I think Usman will likely start to use his wrestling experience because I feel like he knows, he's probably watched tapes of Dricus and Khamzat and it's like, that's the way to do it. I think I should just grapple him all the fight. I think that's how he'll work it. But I think Dricus is a real awkward fighter to fight. And I don't think Khamzat's it's not really a hot take. I don't think Kamaru Usman's wrestling is as good as, they kind of got outpointed by Sean Strickland. Well, it's not as good as Khamzat. Khamzat has better striking, better ground game than Kamaru Usman. I know that's a hot take, I'm sorry. It's just what I've seen. And I think Dricus's game is basically just to don't get to the ground. I think the ground is probably bad spots for him. I think his best spot is just to make this fight, a standing fight, using, punch him around, doing a bit of that. I think that will really give him the best chance. Kamaru, he's just going to be wrestling he will try and wrestle the entire fight, maybe stand on the feet a bit, but I think his wrestling is his main goal for this fight, because he, like I said, he would have seen the Dricus and Khamzat fight and knows that Dricus is not good at wrestling. Well, against Khamzat, which, not many people are better than Khamzat at wrestling, but I think Kamaru Usman will come to that fight with that mindset, and I don't think it'll work in his way. And I do think, like I said, Dricus is an awkward fighter, and I do think Dricus will win this by TKO in the 4th round. I think he will finish Kamaru Usman probably up at the fence. Body shots, head shots, everything coming. Ref comes and stops the fight. I think that's how it's going to go. I think Dricus will win. It could be a decision. But I do think Dricus, he needs this win, and I think he wants to do it in a good fashion. So I think he will try and finish Kamaru Usman. I do have Dricus Du Plessis by TKO in the 4th round. I think his relentless pressure will definitely work well against Kamaru Usman as well. And his durability as well, his real superior durability. And yeah, I do think Dricus will win this. And that is it. Thank you for watching my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. It'll be a massive help. Thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye.